And then for those joining live, it's your choice. If you want your camera on and or off, I will offer cueing. I will offer maybe some adjustments if you do want to keep your camera on. And we are going to start seated today. So take as much time as you need with the busyness of a start of another week, just to settle in. We'll close our eyes. Maybe allowing the palms to face down for grounding. Rolling the shoulders up and away from the ears, hugging our elbows into our sides. Lining up the head above the neck as if someone's pressed on the tip of your nose. And then feeling length from your tailbone, from the nape of the neck and all the way up to the crown, as if it's doing this connect the dot. And then feel your energy draw in through the nose and send it back out to the sit bones. So your choice how you want to start our practice today, seated or reclined. See if you can allow yourself to shift into the space of slowing down, decluttering the mind and from a busy Monday, and finding a way to come back to your center. And as always, as a task or distraction comes into the mind, try not to be frustrated with it. You can acknowledge it, allow it to float by. Sometimes when we get frustrated or want to force something, it just wants to linger a little longer. So try to be gentle when those thoughts change. Try to be gentle when you have those human moments. And then take these next 3 breaths or so to set your intention for today. Maybe the intention is to practice non-attachment, letting go of any expectations. And maybe the intention is to be more open to move with the flow and move with the change of seasons. And whether you are seated or reclined, start to draw your right ear over towards your right shoulder. And then a little gentle switcheroo, left ear to left shoulder. Switcheroo being the technical yoga term. Let's do that one more time. As we take it over to the right, I want you to actually lift your right shoulder up towards your ear and drop your left shoulder down. As long as there's no pinching. And let's do that on the other side. Left shoulder, left ear, right shoulder down. And back to center. If you're seated, take your hands behind your spine, interlace them. If you're reclined, you can take your hands underneath your glutes, maybe come into a modified fish pose as you tuck your elbows back, lift your heart. If you're with me at seated, keep the hands interlaced, roll the shoulders back, maybe start to float the hands off that spine. And then we'll gently come out of that. If you're on your spine, we'll slowly make our way to seated. And then from seated, take your right hand out to the side and take your left arm over. Find that side body stretch here. Maybe walk your right fingertips out a little further. And then you come back to center, cactus the arms, squeeze your shoulders. And then other side, left hand down, taking that arm over, or some of us took a twist, and that is quite all right. Listen to your body. Or I'm just predictable. Walk those left fingertips out a little further. And then come right back up to center. Find your forward fold. Maybe the legs are going to stay crossed. Maybe the legs are going to come long. Wherever you come to your forward fold, take a little rock of the head no from side to side. And maybe change that to an intention as well of it's okay to say no. It's okay to make space for ourselves. All of these reminders that I share out loud are usually reminders for myself as well. And then from our forward fold, let's walk our hands over towards the left and find a little bit of compression there, our belly to our thigh. Or maybe there's space between the two. Maybe the chest wants to start to lift up. Can you roll the shoulders slightly back? And then walk yourself all the way to the other side, and we'll repeat that. From that little side forward fold, maybe drop the head, and this time you can even round the spine slightly. Think of your cat pose, tuck your chin. And then as you come to center, take your hands behind you, lift your heart like we just did in fish pose. Maybe even allow the hands to float unless they make contact with the earth and you want to stay there. And then on your exhale, hug your knees up into your chest, come into a seated rabbit pose. So heels to the ground, knees come in, tuck your chin. And then finding your way into staff pose. So if you took the full version of rabbit, come back to seated, take your legs out long, hug your left knee into your chest, sit up a little taller. We're going to take a twist with that knee in. So twist in the direction of that knee, twisting to the left, left hand behind, right hand's going to hug that knee, looking over our back shoulder, finding length through the crown. And we're going to pause here for a few breaths, maybe soften the eyes or find a focal point at home. As you come out of that twist, lengthen that leg long. Find your forward fold, allow it to be a bit passive as we're still warming up. Maybe bending into the knees, maybe allowing the hands just rest to the thighs instead of reaching them to the toes. And as you roll up, bring your hands behind you, lift your heart again. Then bring your right knee into your chest and we'll find that closed twist. So twist to the right, right hand back. Left hand is going to hug. Left forearm is going to hug that knee. Try not to hook it if that's what you're familiar with. And then let's stay here for about 6 breaths, maybe soften the eyes again. And as you come out of your twist, take that leg long, find your forward fold. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, fold. And as you come out of staff pose, draw the left knee with you again. Find your twist again. So we'll twist to the left, left hand behind us, right hand hugs that knee. We won't hold for as long. We're going to move to the opposite. So stay there with that knee, sorry, the opposite version of your twist. Come to an open twist. So bring your arm to reach behind you. The left hand now to the inside of your thigh. Marianachana, maybe taking that other arm behind you to the back of your mat, opening up through the chest, looking over your shoulder, or even bringing that hand to a hip if you need. Nice and tall in the spine. If the other knee wants to fall out to the side or the left knee wants to fall out to the side, that's okay, but still try to make it a little active, hug it in. Come out of your open twist and find your forward fold. This time in your forward fold, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, melt the heart. Maybe reach those fingertips a little closer to your ankles or the next point without forcing it. All right, rolling up and out of that, drawing the right knee into our chest, twisting to the right hand behind, left hand hugs the knee, sitting up nice and tall. And coming into that open twist, right hand to the inside of the thigh, left arm reaches behind us, open through your chest. And coming out of that twist, find your forward fold. Now from your forward fold, we're going to bring the feet together into butterfly. So slowly roll up, bring the soles of feet together, knees open wide, maybe making more of a diamond shape if you like with your legs, so that the heels are a little further away from the groin, sitting up tall, and then coming to your forward fold. And we're going to play with this pose a little bit later in our practice, more of a yin approach. So right now in our hatha part of our practice, you might feel a bit more active. Try to soften shoulders, soften the grip of the hands. Maybe take a turtle shell by tucking your chin, rounding your spine if you like, or even bringing the hands underneath your ankles, as long as you're not adding too much stress on the lower back. And then slowly rolling out of that. And as you come up, cross your legs and try to cross them in the non-dominant way. So non-dominant leg in front. Take your hands behind you again. Lift your heart. Some of us will stay here, hands to earth or interlace. Or if it's part of your practice and you've practiced this with me before, you can even lift your sit bones off the mat, press your hips forward if you like. Or I love that some of you are taking a big forward fold option here, the hand lifted up to the sky. Both are heart openers. Be in yours. Take one more breath. We're all going to find our way to our bellies. So we'll set up for a Sphinx pose. If you know that you need a bolster underneath your chest or a blanket rolled up underneath your chest, feel free to, if you have that option. Elbows under shoulders. Lifting the head above our heart, pressing our hip bones forward. Maybe take your palms to face up to the sky and then bring them right back down, nice and active. Bring your focus to the middle of your forehead. Maybe enjoy this moment of stillness. And then slowly lower your chest down, take your elbows wide, your hands come underneath your forehead. Little reset of the spine here. And then we're going to come back into our Sphinx pose. And this time you may decide to walk your elbows a little further away from the front of your chest, making a bit more of a yin approach. So it's not so active right under your shoulders. Maybe scooch them forward away. Forearms are still in the earth. Your mind has wandered. Count for 4 more breaths. Now we'll slowly lower our chest down first, and then we're going to press back to an active child's pose. So as we press back, keep the toes tucked. Maybe even place your bolster underneath the glutes if you need, or you can come into a tabletop if you prefer, pressing your hips back. If the forehead reaches the earth, maybe bring your palms together and allow the thumbs to tap the nape of the neck. So active in the upper body and the shoulders, active in the fascia of the feet. So breathe into those arches. Four breaths. And on your next breath, I want you to decide what your counter pose is going to be. Cat and cow, coming to down dog, or maybe it's just coming to a standing forward fold and coming into your rag doll. So your choice, your next movement. So on your next breath, find yourself there. And then we're all going to come to the top of our mat. Find your forward fold. And take your time to come all the way up to stand. Take our hands to our hips when we get there. Take as much time as you need to maybe come up from that fold. And then we'll set up for Virabhadrasana A by stepping our left foot back on a 45-degree angle, our hips still facing forward. And then we'll lengthen our front leg and bring our hands down to frame our foot into pyramid pose. maybe using blocks or resting on our shin as long as we're not putting pressure on the knee. And in pyramid today, I want you to play with lifting the back heel off. So we just step back the left foot, maybe transfer your weight into both balls of the feet and see what it feels like when you start to lift that heel off. Do you get more extension in the hamstrings? It may involve having to bend more into the front knee. So play around with this today. It can be movement, it can be stillness, it can be holding that pose for stillness in your pyramid. And if it doesn't feel good, then come to option 1, just hold your pyramid pose. And then we're going to start to bend into our front knee and bring yourself back up, right? Take that back foot wider, setting up for a Virabhadrasana B. So landing that back foot with the short edge of your mat. Arms extend out in Warrior B. And then take your arms overhead, interlace them into your Kali Mudra. Lean to the back of your mat so that you're finding some stretch through the side of the body. A little bit of compression as long as it's safe for you. Just keep your front knee bent if you can. Soften the shoulders. 2 more breaths. And as you lift back up, we're going to take the hands to the spine this time. Interlace them. Lift the heart. Take the chest towards that front thigh. Bow your head forward if it's safe for you. Humble warrior. Maybe start to lift the lower or lift the hands off the lower back. If you want more shoulders here. Soften your breath. Exhale out. Now staying low like this, you're going to bring your hands down to the ground. And as you step your back foot forward, I want you to cross it right over your right foot. So you're coming right into a standing forward fold with the legs crossed. So left foot or left ankle crosses over right in your standing forward fold. Might mean coming up onto the ball of the foot. The head can be down. Your hands can be on blocks or on the earth. And I love that some of you even challenge yourself to make that more of a balance pose. Drop the head down now, wherever you landed. Feel the expansion of your belly into your thighs with your next inhale. And empty it all out with your exhale. And cross that ankle, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward. And exhale, fold. Bend into your knees, root to rise as you come all the way up to stand. As you take your arms overhead this time, palms together, and then tap the nape of the neck. And then lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale the hands to your hips. So we'll set up on the other side. Right foot's going to step back in Virabhadrasana A. Hips aligned, shoulders down, lengthening your front leg, and then finding pyramid pose as you bring your hands down to frame your foot. Hands to blocks, hands to your shin. Whatever is most accessible. And then maybe putting weight into front leg so that the back heel starts to lift off a bit, just finding a different version of pyramid something we might not be used to. Wherever that sensation is coming up, make sure you breathe into that spot. Taking one more breath like that. Bending into that knee and planting your back heel down. Hug your core in as you lift yourself up to your warrior bee and open up that back foot to your warrior bee. So back foot's aligned with the short edge and heel to arch alignment from that front heel. Take the arms overhead, interlace in any version that works for you, and then lean towards the back of your mat in your exalted version of your warrior. Breathe through the left side of your body. Soften the shoulders. Take the tongue to the roof of the mouth. All these gentle reminders. Lift yourself back up to warrior bee. Interlace the hands behind the spine. Lift your heart to start. Bring your shoulders forward and then bow to the inside of your front leg for humble warrior. Two more breaths there. Keep the front knee bent, hands down to frame your front left foot. And as you step forward, the right ankle crosses the left in your forward fold. Nice work, everyone. Okay, drop the shoulders, drop the head. When was the last time you took a sigh in your practice? One more long breath like that. As you uncross your front leg, we're going to stay in this forward fold and setting up with our blocks and maybe our bolster on top of our blocks if you have it. Setting up for our first yin pose, coming into our dangle. So I love to have two blocks at the tallest level and then my bolster across, or a pillow, as I joke, or a pet all the time. If only my dog would actually do that and stay still. But you can just place something to bring some height. Maybe you come into those crocodile arms with the arms stacked, roll the shoulders forward, allowing everything just to drain forward. Soften the eyes. Anytime if this is too much to be in that forward fold on your lower back, change it up for yourself. See if you can let go of any tension in that lower back lumbar spine. And even if you know you can reach your toes, I encourage you to draw out of that and use the support of your props as we shift into that bit of yin energy now. Feel that breath being drawn through the back of the hamstring, wraps around the front of the hips, maybe even down the quads to the knee, to the shins, to the ankles, and the tops of the feet. Taking 3 more breaths right there. Slowly come out of that, but we're going to come right to our tabletop, stepping yourself back or into a down dog, finding a counter pose, get everything moving again. And then we're going to find our way into table, and we're stepping our right foot between our hands. We're not exactly doing baby dragon tonight. We're going to play with more of a hatha pose again, holding a bit longer, but not as long as a yin pose. So we're setting up for a lizard lunge. So our right foot's going to come forward and take a little heel toe to the outer edge of our mat. So it's nice and wide. Our blocks to the inside of our foot. And coming either to forearms or keeping the hands nice and long, shoulders back. Taking the approach of being gentle like we are in yin and trying not to go past our edge, but maybe finding a bit of fiery feeling or sensation. Be safe with that back knee. Can't see everyone today, but maybe hugging that front knee a little towards the back of your tricep, as long as it's not splaying open. And then noticing where the mind is taking us. Bring it back to the breath. Two more breaths. Now start to heel toe that foot back to the midline, back to center. Tuck the toes up back foot and step it right into your pyramid again. So step it back into pyramid, lengthen your front leg. Maybe take that play of coming up onto the ball of the back foot, lifting the heel. So just come into your version of pyramid or any other counter pose. Beautiful. Okay, nice work, everyone. We'll meet back in table. Transition there safely. Bend back in your front knee and switch legs. So left foot steps forward and take a little wider off your mat, setting up for your lizard. Hands to the inside of your front foot, onto blocks or onto your bolster. Back knee can be down. Hopefully that will take a bit of the intensity out of it, so you're not in a runner's lunge. Soften shoulders and jaw and neck. Maybe arrive in this pose a little quicker than we did the first side. And this time focusing on the expansion through the left side of the body. Belly connecting with the inner thigh. The deeper layers working on digestion, making space. Three breaths. Heel toeing that front foot in a little closer so it's at the center. Picking up the back knee, stepping the back foot into your pyramid. And maybe coming through play and movement, or maybe just holding your pyramid front leg long. Bend into your front knee and step to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, fold. Grab opposite elbow. Around the spine, roll up with this bind. Bend into your knees as you roll up to protect your back. And with your arms overhead, open up the heart, lift through the chest. Press your forearms in towards each other. Press your elbows into your hands. And then exhale, swan dive and come forward. Back to your forward fold. Nice work. Inhale, look forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Step yourself back into your plank or your down dog. This is your option to move through a gentle vinyasa if you need to get that energy, that chi moving again. This is also your option to take a rest in child's pose or hold your down dog. And now we're going to set up for our Sphinx pose, holding it a little longer than we did earlier. So we're going to come back to our belly and placing our bolster underneath our chest or right above the hip bones, as long as it's not creating the hip bones to lift off of the mat. So we want a bit of that heart opener arch in the back because we've done a lot of forward fold. So let's come to that opposite, that counter. Using props that are supportive, or if you find that props are not available to you, you could even just come back into forearms or into crocodiles with the elbows nice and wide, or crocodile. And then bring your focus back to the heart. Noticing the mind, bringing it back to the breath. Three more breaths. Gently taking the chest down to the earth. Taking then your elbows wide when you get there, and maybe sliding your bolster to the right edge of your mat, lining it up with your hip. Setting up for our half frog, we're going to bring our right knee and shin on that bolster. If we don't have a bolster, we're just sliding the right knee up, left cheek down to the earth, and then right knee slides up to right elbow. Finding that half frog, maybe pressing your hip bone forward and then allowing the knee to slide back. Maybe tucking the toes of the opposite leg, the leg that's lengthened, and then planting the knee back down. And then finding some softness in this pose, maybe coming into a restorative approach. Taking 3 breaths right there. As we transition out of this side, we're going to press back to child's pose. And I recommend, if you have your bolster, to bring it with you to the center of your mat, hug your bolster, come into that restorative child's pose for a moment, maybe forehead down. We're not there for the full length of the yin pose, but just have some comfort in this counter pose or this reset. All right, we'll slowly come out of our child's pose, putting our bolster on the left side of our mat, coming back down to our belly and sliding that left knee up to the elbow and onto the bolster, right cheek down. Again, maybe playing with that opposite leg and lengthening it, picking up the knee and then planting it back. melting the heart into the floor. A little press of your hip bone forward and then softening it back to its space. Taking 3 long breaths. We'll lengthen that leg long and we're going to press back into a child's pose again. And you're more than welcome to stay there a little longer this time. This will be our last pose. So if you feel like you want to hang out and get comfortable in child's pose with the support of your props, take as much time as you need then. Taking maybe 3 more breaths here. And you're more than welcome to stay there for Shavasana or slowly come to your spine and add some layers to keep the body warm when you get there. So socks, sweater, blankets. And we'll close practice with a bit of a body scan. So once you've settled in, close the eye. Send a breath down to the tailbone. And then send a breath into the center of the heart. Breathe into the middle of the forehead. The sit bones. The calves as they are heavy in the mat. The ankles. The heels. The back of the shoulders. Right earlobe. Left knee. Right thumb. Left earlobe. To the navel. Right knee. Left thumb. Left pointer finger. Left middle finger. Left ring finger. Left pinky. The center of the left palm. The whole hand. To the right pinky. Right ring finger. Right middle finger. Right index finger. Thumb to the center of the palm. The whole hand. Right elbow. Top of the right shoulder. Nape of the neck. Space between the shoulder blades. Top of the left shoulder. Left elbow. All the way down to the pubic bone. To the collarbone. Tip of the nose. Bottom lip. Upper lip. Top of the crown. Eyebrows. Upper row of teeth. Lower row of teeth. All the way back to the heart center. Middle of the forehead. Front of the throat. Top of the crown. Lower spine. Pubic bone. To the intestines. The reproductive system. Belly. Back to the lower back. Right glute. Left glute. Hamstrings of the right side. Hamstrings down the left side. Feeling that pranayama draw into the nose and back out mouth. In through the nose. And sending the breath back down to the earth. In through the nose. And back out. On this next breath, to reawaken back to your space, inhaling and exhale. Massaging the back of the head, maybe rocking side to side. And mindfully rolling to our right side, coming into a little ball. Taking as much time as you need and slowly coming up to seated. And we'll close our practice today with one hand at the heart and the other hand down to the mat or to the ground beside you. Palms connect to third eye, to mouth, and back to heart. Thank you for joining me this evening. Namaste.